What's up, guys? Welcome to the show again. Thanks for checking in. I hope you're having a blessed, abundant, beautiful day. It's a Friday here. Whatever day it is for you, just know it's a great day, okay? Because it's always a great day. You're breathing, okay? Right? Something I want to talk about today. It was on my mind last night. It's been on my mind plenty of times before. Right? This is the idea that our lack of self-expression manifests in the hate we feel. In the hate we feel for whatever it is. Right? When we fail to express ourselves truly, when we fail to express the energy that we have in whatever way, it will then most often manifest into some sort of hatred, right? A lot of the time it will. Now, you can almost guarantee this will happen if you are consistently not expressing yourself in the way that you really need to. A lot of us have repressed energy that stays inside of us, that tries to circulate through us, as we are all energetic, and it hits a wall. We have blocked chakras. We have blocked different energy centers of our life. Right? That might sound woo-woo to you, even if you don't believe any of that stuff. Energy is in everything, isn't it? I mean, this computer you're watching this on is full of energy. Everything we do is energy. Okay? That's not a point for this video. When energy isn't expressed, okay, let me say this. Energy will always find a way to express itself. It's supposed to cycle through us in an efficient manner that allows us to be ourselves and allows us to be who we are meant to be in our own way, right? With the ideas of our energy centers, which we're not going to get into. But when one of those centers is blocked, something is causing a blocking of our expression. That energy still has to find a way out. It's still going to make its way out somehow. It's similar to the pressure building up in a pipe of any kind. It's going to find a way out and it's going to bust that pipe. There's been a lot of times in my life where I felt the need to express myself. Like I was going in a direction that I didn't want to in one task, in one situation. And my failure to express the way I felt caused me to have resentment. It caused me to have a lot of negative emotions right afterwards, going into the next thing, or finishing out that task that I was already a part of. Right? Resentment. Resentment is an extremely negative emotion and feeling to have. Yet so many of us harbor it deep within. We don't even realize. So many of us operate from a state of resentment for everything, for something that you went through in your childhood, for something that went on at work, for something that happened the one time walking down the street with the one person. We find these different ways to characterize and individualize ourselves, right? By these manifestations of our potential, of our expression of ourself. So therefore, if we do not choose to have rightful pursuits of our own expression, we're going to have wrongful pursuits of our own expression. When we are not in alignment and our constant self-expression is going down a road, going through a concept, our attention is going somewhere that isn't where we would truly want it to be, we are manifesting and creating negativity. We are transferring ourselves into a lower state of being and manifesting that into the real world. Rather than living up to our higher self and being one of purpose and passion and fulfillment. Rather than living up to our expressing ourselves in a way that leaves our mark on the world. As we all want to do in our own individual way. Right? We are all energetic. We all have a connection to the world and to one another. And to everything in it. Yet in our society, we fall far away from that. We say, no, I don't want anything to do with that. That's not me. I'm better over here with my, whatever substances, whatever materialism that keeps you grounded in a way, keeps you falsely grounded, right? We must look at and accept where we are in terms of self-expression, right? This was a huge part for me. I did not realize truthfully, like I always knew in the back of my mind subconsciously, but my conscious thinking did not realize that it was me and my internal that was creating this sense of a lack of self-esteem, a lack of confidence, an inability to express myself. Right? I felt this all throughout school, especially writing, writing poems, doing, the presentations, talking in front of a bunch of people, right? Pretty much everything but the fun stuff, like you're in front of your friends, that kind of thing. I felt stifled. I felt unable to express myself, especially in the writing, like I mentioned, right? I felt I felt a lot of trouble being able to express whatever I needed to on paper. We were supposed to write this prompt, and every part of it was triggering a part of me that didn't want to express who I was, that didn't feel like I was good enough to be heard. I was a kid. Why did I feel like that? Well, now I know. Well, okay, let me take it back. I'm a kid. Why should I feel like that? Why do I didn't ask the question of why do I feel like this? It was just, this is how I feel, as we often do, even as we grow older. I knew these negative emotions were just a part of, I just expected them. They were my self-image. They were what was manifesting. The negative feelings of these that I would have later on in the day. This was manifesting from my lack of self-expression in those moments. Right? Or even maybe before that, why I couldn't write on the paper, why I couldn't write about life or anything in any sort of expressive way was because I was failing to express myself in the home. In my own fault, right? This can happen in any kind of home where you don't truly express yourself because of some sort of chaotic energy. Right? So we grow up, we develop, when we start to look back and think about and realize, hey, I should have been able to express myself. I can now. Why can't I do it a little bit better now? What's changed? Well, you look at it and you realize what you've been through, how you changed through that process, right? Maybe there's still something unhealed. But for a lot of us, there is. I know there's still stuff I need to heal from my childhood, from my younger adolescent years. And it's something we have to progressively work on to get into the right state of being that says, that knows you healed these certain things and is grateful for the challenge of it. Because then we can help the rest of the world with it. But that's a topic for another conversation. Hatred. Extreme negative remark for things that aren't extremely negative. It's coming from a lack of self-expression, right? Now, let's get it straight. Pedophiles, terrible things of the world. Terrible people that do absolutely horrid, wretched things that succumb to that lowest self by the highest degree. Of course, we have extreme negativity for that. Right? We have hate for that in a way. But if we're feeling hate for a situation at work that just rubs us the wrong way, if we're feeling extreme hate for someone in our life that was once important, or if we're feeling extreme hate for even ourselves at times, or a way we do something, the backbone of it, what is causing it to be there, is just the inability or the unexpressed self manifesting. That's why it's happening. We feel these ways at people with work because we have failed to say or do or create the right situations for us all to operate in. We fail to express ourselves with our loved ones and communicate properly for long periods of time. So it builds up and it builds extreme resentment and sometimes hate. We do the same thing with ourselves. We fail to express ourselves in the ways that we feel on the inside that we need to. And then as we get better and better at avoiding expression, or even worse, expressing a fake side, as we get better at these things, we stray farther and farther away from our true self-expression. Expression of ourself that actually relieves the pain of the present. The expression of the self that puts our message into the world. That says, hey, I am unique and I am important and I have love for everybody. Because that's what life's all about, believe it or not. But when we speak from ego, when we speak from the unhealed lower selves, we create more issues. We create more pain for others. We create more negative and hostile environments. To what end? Even if it's something as simple as creating a negative environment in your workplace, creating a small negative situation with your loved one that consistently happens because of your lack of self-expression in another area. That's another topic. We fail to express ourselves, we feel the resentment, and it bubbles over into other areas of our life. It's the same reason why our chaotic energies from our childhood, from our younger parts of life, return in our older relationships and later parts of our life. It's the same reason. Because there is built up resentment and hatred from the lack of self-expression from a young age. And so your triggers vary by the person. There's probably a select amount that stay with everybody, but I think it can be anything, generally speaking. Right? I know a trigger for me used to be like not being heard, like being talked over. Because I experienced that a lot in my childhood. Being talked over used to trigger, it still will trigger me at times. It's something that I'm still healing. But when that happens, it's like a punch in the face, like you're that kid again, feeling that pain. Right? When we fail to do that and then we kind of just blow it over, let it continue, well, of course that hate and that resentment and that pain builds up. It needs to be expressed. You're being around people who remind you of those negative situations. So eliminate yourself from those situations, from those people. If they're an extreme loved one that you know has some sort of rightful purpose in your life, which is a whole different conversation and a thing to determine on your own, then fucking work through it. Like, if you have to take space, you got to take space. If it's meant to be, it'll meant to be. But when you're rightful in your pursuits, when you eliminate and heal the sides of yourself that are constantly trying to gain for power, when you eliminate that side and you tame and control these lower parts of ourselves, and you teach them how to be used for good, and then you raise yourself to a high frequency constantly, and you live up to that higher standard of living that you want to pursue for the world, for yourself, for your family, well, then it's all rightful pursuit, man. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes, but the mistakes are not in vain, my friend. We must take these steps. We must understand where we're at truthfully. We must understand how long we have been failing to express ourselves in this world. I know the realization that that's what I was doing was painful. But there's nothing I'm more grateful for seeing or like realizing as far as my personal battles go. So make the difference today. Make a decision to wake up to these realities that aren't desirable and be yourself. Learn how to express yourself again as a child. Your inner child needs to be healed. You need to be able to express this energy that is always flowing through us. That might mean healing your inner child, because the inner child was swallowed up in chaos and couldn't express the energetic ways a kid should at some point. And maybe your ego is keeping you in a certain box that is like keeping you from expressing yourself in the way that you truly want to, because you're living up to someone else's standard. These lower parts of ourselves will reign free and reign in total control at times until we heal them, until we control them, until we tame and teach them and transcend them. That's all I got for right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you got something from it, let me know. Comment below what you got, what you were thinking, what it made you think of, blah, 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 whatever. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Let's have an amazing day. Let's go crush it. I hope you have a great weekend. If you watch this today, I should have this up by tonight. And guys, our life is up to us. It's up to choose where we're going. Let's do it. You got this.